Well, welcome to another episode of Courtside with Justin Jennings, head coach here at Edinburgh, the men's basketball coach, presented by Walker Brothers Chevrolet, serving Northwest Pennsylvania for more than 100 years. Tough week, and let's 0-2, but you know the losses, and they're a little bit troubling because you now have two losses that if you'd like to have do-overs on.
Yes.
I got to ask, in terms of the program, the morale, where is that when it's one thing to getting beat, but to feel like you've lost, and that Malone game really sort of had that feel to it. What are we doing to make sure that the mindset is right? Because that's a bad headspace to be in when you have it's especially such close proximity with losses like that.
Yeah, and I think you gotta make sure the guys aren't just putting too much pressure on themselves. You watch that first 32 minutes of the Malone game, and we dominated the game.
Yeah.
You talk about being up 15 comfortably with a good look for one of our best shooters in Easton Fulmer at the top of the key to go up 18. You feel good about that spot, and we got to celebrate where we're at and the things we did. All right, now we kind of lost our way a little bit, principally defensively. We lost our way. We blew a scouting assignment that was really huge down the stretch there, and all those things go into winning, and that's just part of us learning how to win and how to get to the next thing. So, certainly it's not easy, but I think our guys might put a little pressure on themselves to kind of get over the hump there, and so I think we had a pretty good pretty healthy film session. We've watched some stuff, and we've had some good practices after the a couple losses this week. So we feel good about where we're going moving forward. The worry is just keeping our guys confident, getting to the next thing, worrying about next play mentality.
Yeah, I mean, how important is it to just get that win, to get the proverbial monkey off your back?
Yeah.
And it's a lot to be said for, Coach, where just knowing that they can win together. And you talk about practice is one thing, but to be successful where it matters is quite different. So how important is it going to be just to get that win and just kind of take a deep breath and think, all right, now we're okay?
Yeah, I mean, we certainly want that for the guys. They're pushing themselves and everything, but we cannot have a program that's just results based. Right, and especially as we build this thing, we got to throw ourselves into the process. Because if we're about the process and we about those little things, we don't make those mistakes down the stretch. Right? If we're throwing ourselves in the process and being doubted in the scouting report, we don't make that mistake down at the end of Malone. So just things like that, we need to just continue to focus on process and not say, hey, the wins and losses are the end all be all. Just be about our process, be about our standards, and keep pushing that way.
Now, obviously, you can make, you could just have analysis to paralysis when you start looking at some of the stat lines and like some of the question marks, and and I thought it was really interesting when you look at for instance you're 9 of 16 from the free throw line at Malone, and like it seems so simplistic, but like the little things that are going when you're not very good and you're getting better, like the little things that are just jump off the page at you, that's got to drive you nuts when you're kind of trying to figure how can we be better, how can we win, how can we turn the corner, and then there's some glaring things that jump off the page at you.
Yeah, certainly, and we talk about it. Like sometimes people think it's just a big thing. Well, we didn't get a stop on that possession or that, but like if you really break the game down, it's those little details. Hey, can we finish at the rim? We talked about that with West Virginia Wesleyan not finishing and that kind of came back to haunt us a little bit in these last two games, more so in the last one. So those little details of finishing around the rim, being down into the scout, all those little things from a scouting report standpoint that we talk about. We show the film, being conscious of those things. Free throws, paying attention. Are we, in practice, we spend ad nauseum with free throws, and certain guys will do it. And just having the confidence of going up there and just say, win the game. This is automatic. I'm going to knock these down. And I think our guys got to continue to focus on those things and not worry about the other stuff.
The other thing that obviously when you're going to have a smaller lineup the vast majority of the time. Against Malone, you get outscored 42-30 in points in the paint. How much of a learning curve is it for a lot of guys that maybe have spent their whole lives floating around the arc that are going to have to get a little more physical and get inside and bang around a little bit, just based on the fact that, by and large, for the most part, you're four guards and one big the lion's share of the time.
Absolutely. Yeah, we have to be more physical on the perimeter. Our guys got to show some grit and some toughness. And I think in the Malone game that happened, it wasn't like they had bigs that were scoring in the paint on us. I think we were getting driven on a little bit, and they were getting paint touches, and that's how, particularly their guard, they scored a little bit around the basket, and then they started getting some sprays and stuff like that to three. So, yeah, the size and the physicality we got to continue to work on, but we're not going to change that overnight. All right, we're not going to change that throughout the season. We got to make sure we're handling those things, and it's going to be a grit and a mentality and a toughness.
The other thing that I thought was sort of alarming is the TIFF. You're 5 of 7 from the free throw line. They're 18 of 25. Did you settle, or did they force you to settle?
A little bit of life on the road. I think there's a little bit of life on the road, and you look at some of the things we got. Big fella Say got 2 fouls right away, and then Ian comes in, picks up 2 fouls, and then next thing you know, we're on our third big and trying to play undersized at the 5, and he picks up 2 fouls with Laddie. So, they are a big, strong, physical team. They have a lot of veteran guys. They have a lot of guys back. You can tell they take the weight room extremely serious, and that affected us a little bit. Chance favors the aggressor. And I thought they were more aggressive. Now, I thought we started out well, getting great looks, and then we lost a little bit of our process as the game went on, and they were the more aggressive, and they got the fouls because of aggressiveness. And
then, obviously, probably the most frustrating, and maybe sort of walk me through, like, the start to the second half. I mean, it could not have been worse, quite frankly. What, now that you've had a time to evaluate, and you're trying to get better, they're trying to, everybody's trying. What sort of happened? Like the total flow of the game out of the locker room was all Tiffin. Do you have an explanation now that you've been able to kind of watch it and figure out what went wrong?
Well, it's amazing that you draw something up, you get a wide open look, you don't finish it. That can kind of affect a lot of things. All we were talking about in the locker room wasn't about the score. We knew we hadn't played our best, but hey, let's just win this first 4 minutes. Let's just win this first 4 media timeout. And I thought we had a good action. We had a great look at the basket, and we smoked it. We smoked the layup, and we got another look and missed that. I think we missed 3-point Blake layups, in the first 30 seconds there. And then they followed it with a guy hitting 2 threes that wasn't a guy that typically on the scouting report, hey, he's capable from 3, but he's not going to do that. And he banked one in. So then it just kind of snowballed a little bit. And they separated from that point. But I liked our fight after that.
Yeah.
They really got up, and then we didn't quit. We didn't quit the entire game. I think that's a statement to what our guys have done. They didn't quit the whole game. They kept fighting. We might have just been a little outmatched in that game.
Obviously, you look at Tiffin. I think they'll be. You're not.
No question.
You're going to hear from.
Yeah, they're borderline top 25 team right now. I think they're good. Yeah, absolutely.
So, when you look at where you're at now, and obviously you finally get to play at home this week, do you have a better handle? Because the preparation and practice is one thing, but you've now had 4 games to kind of reevaluate. What your rotation's going to look like, who plays best with who. Do you feel that you've made progress and gotten a little bit better handle on what your identity is, at least for the time being?
Yeah, I think we're still trying to work with our rotation. It's been tough. You talk about Will Taylor having an injury coming into the season and that kind of holding him back a little bit, missing all the scrimmages and trying to get him back into the flow. And he's slowly starting to get into it. But I feel like it's funny, like some of our other guys, they've played hard and they've played well, but the shots aren't falling.
Yeah.
Right? And, look at a guy like Bernie Blunt. You watch him here. He's a grinder. He gets in here. He gets his shots up all the time. We're in here getting shots up. He's shooting 19% from 3. Like, that's not like him. So that's going to turn quickly. And we're really excited about what he can bring to our program. And even Easton Fulmer, is below 30% for a guy that can really zing it. So I think those numbers are going to change pretty quickly. And hopefully that gives us a little bit better feeling of what our guys can do from that standpoint.
Obviously, I'll use Easton as an example. I broadcast a lot of his games in high school. He missed 7 in a row a lot, and then 8 in a row went in right away. Is it going to be that simple for some of those guys that just need to see a couple going in a row?
I think so. I think once they hit one, it's just going to all start clicking and everything. And the problem is that we talked about, they're pressing a little bit. They're worried about that. We're just trying to get that next play mentality. Okay, forget about that shot. Who cares about the first 25 you've taken? Let's hit the next 25. You know what I mean? And have that mentality. And I think they're working on it. You see them in practice. We're doing things, so it's going to start clicking, and you'll see some success down the stretch.
Courtside with Justin Jennings, brought to you by Walker Brothers Chevrolet, serving Northwest Pennsylvania for more than 100 years. Quick timeout. We're going to look ahead. The home debut in the Justin Jennings era here at Macomb Fieldhouse. Back with more right after this.
Factory Train Service, a full-service body shop that accepts all insurance and honest, no-nonsense deals on all new Chevrolets and used cars. Come in and see for yourself why we've been here for over 100 years. Call, click, or stop out. Walker Brothers Chevrolet.
Courtside with head basketball coach Justin Jennings, presented by Walker Brothers Chevrolet, serving Northwest Pennsylvania for more than 100 years. The home debut, Roberts Wesleyan. Unfortunately, they're with the students being gone, timing. Come on out. It's not going to be ideal just based on the calendar year. But you've not played at home yet. How much are you just looking forward to it being a home game? As simple as just sleeping in your own bed the night before. Everybody. How excited are you just to have it be a home game?
It's going to be very exciting. Exciting for our guys, excited for our program. It doesn't stop there, though. I think our first 7 of our first 8 are on the road. That's the beauty of getting the job in the summer and trying to put something together. You don't have the choice to make your own schedule. But it is what it is. It's what we got, and our guys are fired up to get home. Students aren't here, so anybody out there, if you're around, I'll pay for your admission. Get in here. Let's make this place rocking for Roberts Wesleyan. I'm fired up.
Now, Roberts Wesleyan, you talk about tested. They got 2 PSAC games under their belt. No, they're not in the PSAC. Lost a real heartbreaker to Mercyhurst the other night. Got handled by Lock Haven, but they got a guy in Malik Brooks that can really go. He's had 25 or more in 3 of their 4 contests. They are 1-3, but they've played a very, very tough schedule.
No doubt. And they took University of Buffalo down to the wire too, Division I team. So they play a fun, exciting style. They get up and down. They're going to play a lot of guys. They can shoot a ton of threes. It's not an overly complex scout from the standpoint of X's and O's. It's, hey, can you handle their pressure? They're going to pick up full. They're going to trap first pass. They're going to do run and jump at the half. Can we handle that? Okay, do we have enough in us to understand what they're doing? And then once we break it, can we execute our stuff in the half court to get great looks? When we've done that, we've gotten great looks the entire season. All right, now we got to connect on them. When we've gone the other way and got away from our process and what we do, I think that's when we've shown signs of struggling. But a very good Roberts Wesleyan team. Our guys are dialed into the scout. They do play a lot of players, and they're going to get up and down. So I expect a high-scoring affair, but we're ready for it.
I wanted to ask you, because you've struggled to score the basketball a little bit. Do you think that I don't want to say settle, because that's not. But I mean, settle is the best word I can come up with. Do you think like a guy like Bernie, who is maybe taking more shots because the frustration with the lack of scoring is across the board? Do you kind of feel that maybe guys are pressing the issue a little bit more just to try to score because the ball just doesn't seem to want to go to the basket?
Yeah, I think it's natural for that to happen sometimes. We continue to talk about just being disciplined, sticking with our stuff, because you can't be results based. If you get a great look, that's a success. Whether it goes in or doesn't, like if we execute our stuff to get that great look, that's a success. So just stick with it. They're gonna fall. We got to focus more on finishing around the rim. We got to focus on those spray kickouts, knocking them down and finishing. But we've gotten away from it a little bit, particularly in the Tiffin game, because they're so physical and strong. They've kind of bumped us off our spots a little bit. But it was a great test for us to, before you go into a game like Roberts Wesleyan, to kind of deal with a weighted bat a little bit coming in for that.
It's sort of funny that you frame it that way, but I think that's oh so true. It's not that I don't want you to. It's not that I don't want you to win. It's that I want you to do what we are doing.
Right.
Let's get in our right spots. Let's run it correctly, and eventually they'll go in. Is that too simplistic of a way to say it?
It's not, and the amount of film we've shown on, hey guys, this is a success, and then we cut it. We don't even care about the ending. We cut it like this is a success, and keep.
If I design a play for you to get a shot here, you get it. I mean, that's 50%.
And that's good. That's what we want.
Yeah.
Okay, now we got to knock down. Trust your training. Like, these guys have thrown themselves into the process, and then, you see our guys in here all night getting shots up, Easton late night, Bernie getting shots up, guys getting in here, all the time. And they got to trust their training and just have confidence and knock it out. We talked about it, We talked about this game playing our pace. Our pace, our building, our game is our message for this game, and that's all we got to worry about, and play with confidence, and that's it.
And now you talk about Say and Ian. Roberts Wesleyan has a grown-up in Elmore.
Yes, big boy.
6'9", 225. Mm-hmm. When you talk about like finishing at the rim, this is a big body. This is probably going to be one of the bigger bodies you're going to see all year long. How important is it going to be to try to get Say with something early to kind of get his confidence going? Because at the end of the day, he still is 7 foot.
Yeah.
And to get him finishing at the rim, this will be a good test.
Yeah, and maybe he'll have a little bit more success going up against a bigger guy, maybe a little bit more comfortable. And we got to be smart. We got to get Say on the move a little bit. Get him moving a little bit to give him an advantage. And then when he goes up there, he's been in here every day these last 3 days trying to get in extra work and try to steal inches and figure it out, because he knows he's missed some ones around the basket. But I'm excited for him for this challenge and this opportunity to put him in the spot.
Now, obviously, you're gonna run what you run, but for a guy like Bernie, that quite frankly, we know that he's better than he's played, and he's better than the stats would say. Will you, in the back of your mind, kind of have some things designed to try to get guys going, just to get the flow of the game, sort of underneath them, and not swimming upstream? It felt at times in that Tiffin game, or even if you were doing it right, it still didn't feel, I guess, maybe clunky, where it wasn't as natural. And obviously, you're 4 games in. This is a brand new system, but is it going to be in your game plan to try to get guys going and involved, and just sort of get a more natural feeling to the flow of the game?
Yeah, when we certainly try to do that with JJ Eubank early in the Tiffin game, and it was funny. He got 3 shots for other people because he just executed his stuff. We got wide open layups, and everything was great. So we do have some things in our back pocket to execute to get guys going. This game might be a little bit harder than most, though, just from a style of play standpoint. Like, we can't turn down opportunities that we may have if we're attacking with aggression, attacking the score, attacking with intelligence. All those things we've talked about for this one. We can't always just pull it up, walk it up, and run something. We kind of got to play with flow a little bit and just make the right next play.
When you talk about the phonetic and physical style of Roberts Wesleyan, and maybe this is too simplistic of a question, do you have, like, in your mind, when that ball's in the air for the opening tip, if we shoot 22 free throws tonight, we win? Do you kind of think along those lines, like, with that sort of pace that they're going to want to play at, where that's how you get other teams in foul trouble? Because generally speaking, those teams that like to play that way don't like to defend that way.
Exactly. No, certainly. And some of the teams that have had success on them this year have been in the bonus in like the 10-minute mark. And that's what I said, we got to be more aggressive. We can't be on our heels. Like, when we get opportunities to drive, we got to drive and go and finish with force. If you're aggressive, you're going to get the foul call. Yeah. If you're not as aggressive, then you might be losing out of bounds, or they might bump you and you might want the foul, but it's not going to happen. So I think when you go to finish with force every time and you're the aggressor, you're going to get those calls. And we got to be that way this on Tuesday.
Certainly looking forward to the opportunity. And again, I just think that, this is going to be, you use the word process. I'm a Sixers fan. I don't like to use I don't
trust the process.
I
lived there the whole time, this whole thing, so I saw that whole process.
Don't trust the process.
It's still going. Hopefully ours isn't that long.
But, again, to sort of come full circle, is it as simple as, let's just win the first 4 minutes?
Yeah, we're talking about it all the time. Like, it's a heavyweight fight. That's it. Just win the round. And we're just worried about winning that first media timeout. And then you chip away at it, and just keep going. And if you win more than you lose, most of the time you end up on the right side of the thing.
I was just a comm major, but if you win every 4 minutes, I don't see how you lose.
Exactly.
I've done a little bit of math.
Exactly.
That seems to
no, we got to simplify it and just focus on those small victories, and then they'll combine together for success.
Yeah, certainly. Coach Nolf and I would always talk about stacking blocks.
Yeah.
You just start putting those wins on top of one another. Before we let you go, obviously the holiday, it's what's the plan for the guys getting back? When are they leaving?
Yep.
And obviously, you've got still a lot of work to do. You've got games and right back at it.
Yeah.
On the other side, is game send them home Wednesday night, and then they come back Saturday?
Yeah, so we'll play Tuesday, and we'll get up Wednesday morning and have a healthy film session. We'll get in the weight room and then get back on the court and get some regeneration in from the game before, and then we'll send them off and let them spend a couple of days. We'll probably see them again on Sunday, since we don't play until that following weekend, and we'll get right to it and get focused on league play, and our guys will be ready to roll.
All right, happy Thanksgiving, Coach.
Hey, you too. Thanks so much.
All right. Courtside with Justin Jennings, presented by Walker Brothers Chevrolet, serving Northwest Pennsylvania for more than 100 years. Thank you for joining us, and a happy Thanksgiving to you, and hopefully we'll see you at Macomb on Tuesday night.